What if living past 90 wasn't just luck, but a choice? Imagine waking up in your 70s or 80s feeling sharp, strong, and full of purpose, while others your age struggle just to get through the day. In this video, we're diving into 8 surprising habits shared by people who live the longest, healthiest lives, and most of them aren't what you think. If you care about staying young in mind and body, you'll want to stick around. One of these habits might completely change how you think about aging, starting today. The unexpected power of movement. Most people think staying active means hitting the gym or running miles every day. But the truth? The people who live the longest don't even go to the gym. Instead, they build movement into their daily lives, and that's the secret. In places like Okinawa, Japan, and Sardinia, Italy, where people routinely live past 100, you won't see fitness trackers or intense workout routines. What you will see are people constantly in motion. They walk everywhere. They garden. They cook from scratch. They clean, carry, climb, bend, and stretch without even thinking about it. These aren't workouts, they're lifelong habits of natural movement. And they don't stop when someone retires. In fact, these small daily actions help prevent stiffness, keep joints healthy, and support muscle strength, even into old age. Science backs it up. Regular low-intensity movement throughout the day does more for longevity than the occasional high-intensity workout. Why? Because your body was never meant to be sedentary for hours and then shocked into a burst of exercise. It thrives on consistent, functional movement. But it's not just about muscles and mobility. Movement is directly tied to brain health and mood. Walking, in particular, has been shown to reduce the risk of dementia, lower depression, and even spark creative thinking. Ever noticed how your best ideas hit you during a walk? That's no coincidence. And here's the part most people overlook: balance and flexibility. As we age, falls become one of the biggest threats to our independence, and often our lives. But daily movement like yoga, tai chi, or even dancing can train your body to stay steady, flexible, and responsive. It's not about doing more. It's about doing it smarter. If you're picturing endless reps or running on a treadmill, think again. The secret isn't working harder. It's about moving naturally, often, and with purpose. And once movement becomes second nature, you're not just preserving your body. You're buying time, years of it. Keep your brain on fire. You can take care of your body all you want, but if your brain starts to fade, everything else goes with it. And here's the scary part. Cognitive decline doesn't wait until you're old. It starts subtly, years before most people even notice. But here's the good news. Your brain is a muscle. And just like any muscle, if you use it right, it gets stronger. The people who stay mentally sharp deep into their 80s and 90s, they don't retire from thinking. They're constantly learning, challenging themselves, and forcing their brains to adapt. We're not talking about doing the daily crossword puzzle. That's maintenance. If you want growth, you need challenge. Learning a new language. Playing a strategy game. Teaching yourself how to edit videos, code, or play an instrument. These things push your brain out of autopilot and into expansion mode. One study found that learning a complex new skill can actually grow gray matter in older adults. That means new brain cells. Real cognitive upgrade. But it doesn't stop there. Mental sharpness also comes from how you handle challenges. People who thrive long-term develop a problem-solving mindset. Instead of seeing setbacks as defeat, they see puzzles. They pause. Think creatively. Reframe the problem. That mindset alone can protect your brain by keeping neural pathways active and flexible, the very thing that helps prevent conditions like Alzheimer's. Then there's curiosity, the underrated fuel of intelligence. Ever meet someone older who seems young just by how they talk? That's curiosity in action. They're always asking questions, learning about new ideas, reading books they don't have to read. And here's the kicker. Curiosity doesn't just keep your brain sharp. It keeps your spirit alive. Mental aging isn't just about forgetting things. It's about losing your sense of wonder. Protect that, and you protect your entire identity. The silent medicine. Deep social bonds. Here's something you won't hear from your doctor. Loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. We're wired to connect. And when we don't, the body knows. Cortisol spikes. Immune systems weaken. Sleep quality drops. But here's the flip side. Strong relationships don't just feel good. They literally help you live longer. Centenarians around the world, from the hills of Sardinia to the villages of Okinawa, all have one thing in common: deep, lasting social bonds. They don't just talk to people. They belong to people. They have close-knit communities, daily check-ins with friends, multi-generational families under one roof, and regular gatherings where stories, laughter, and life are shared. But here's what's really wild. It's not about how many people you know. It's about how connected you feel to the ones that matter. One powerful study from Harvard followed people for over 75 years. What did they find? The biggest predictor of long-term health and happiness wasn't wealth, fame, or career success. It was the quality of their close relationships, period. That means making time for people who lift you up. It means reaching out, even when you're tired or busy. It means being intentional, not just liking someone's post, but calling, visiting, listening. And it's not just about friends or family. Joining clubs, taking classes, volunteering, these all build connection. Even small daily interactions, like chatting with your barista or neighbor, add up over time. They give you a sense of place and purpose. When you laugh with someone, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. When you hug someone you trust, your blood pressure literally drops. This isn't woo-woo. It's biology. Connection is a built-in medicine we forget to use. So if you've been isolating, or just going through the motions, it's time to change that. Because the truth is, no amount of vitamins or workouts can replace the power of real, human connection. The hidden wealth you need: financial peace. Here's a hard truth. Money problems don't just cause stress. They quietly chip away at your health, your relationships, and your ability to enjoy life. And for many people, it's not about how much they have, it's about how out of control it all feels. But people who age well, they don't just build wealth, they build financial peace. It's the calm confidence that comes from knowing your bills are paid, your future is covered, and your choices are your own. Let's break that down. The first key: budgeting with intention. Not the boring spreadsheets and endless tracking, but knowing where your money is going and why. It's about spending in ways that reflect your values, not your impulses. You don't need to be rich to feel financially secure, you just need clarity. Second, freedom from debt. Debt isn't just a number, it's a weight. It steals sleep, drains energy, and keeps you stuck in survival mode. Older adults who age with grace often live by one rule: if they can't pay for it in full, they wait. That patience builds power. Then there's retirement planning, the game changer most people avoid until it's almost too late. Those who thrive in later life didn't wait for one day. They started small, stayed consistent, and thought ahead. They diversified their savings, educated themselves on investing, and made their future a priority, long before it felt urgent. But here's the hidden part most people miss. Financial independence isn't just about money. It's about freedom. Freedom to walk away from a toxic job. Freedom to travel, to create, to give, or just to rest without guilt. And freedom to make decisions based on desire, not desperation. You don't need $1 million portfolio to feel at peace. You need a plan, a sense of control, and the belief that your future is yours to design. Emotional armor, the power of inner strength. Everyone hits storms in life. The loss of a loved one, a health scare, financial collapse, a betrayal you never saw coming. But what separates those who crumble from those who rise again? Emotional resilience. It's not loud. It doesn't come with applause. But it's one of the most powerful tools in long-term well-being and longevity. People who live the longest, happiest lives aren't untouched by pain. In fact, many of them have faced more than most. But instead of being broken by it, they developed what psychologists call a growth mindset, the belief that challenges shape you, not shatter you. It starts with how you talk to yourself. Resilient people don't say, "Why me?" They say, "What now?" They don't deny pain. They feel it, sit with it, learn from it, and then move forward. Another core trait: gratitude. Not the forced kind. The daily, real kind. Taking just 30 seconds to focus on what is going right, no matter how small, has been shown to reduce cortisol levels, increase dopamine, and literally rewire the brain to handle stress better. It's simple, but most people never practice it. Then there's emotional regulation, the quiet skill of not letting every bad moment become a bad day. It means knowing when to pause before reacting. It means accepting what's out of your control, while doubling down on what is. Journaling, meditation, deep breathing, these aren't trends. They're tools. And the people who thrive later in life, they use them. And finally, purpose. When life hits hard, purpose is what keeps you grounded. Whether it's caring for someone, creating something, mentoring, building, or giving back, having a reason to get up every morning is more powerful than any pill or therapy. The truth is, emotional strength isn't about being tough. It's about being steady, adaptable, deeply connected to what matters most, even when everything else is shaking. The obsession with learning, staying curious at any age. Here's something the world rarely tells you. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start aging. Not on the outside, but inside, where it really counts. People who stay mentally and emotionally vibrant into their 70s, 80s, and beyond all share one common trait. They never stop being curious. They ask questions. Try new things. Dive into unfamiliar territory, not because they have to, but because they want to. It's more than reading a book or watching documentaries. Lifelong learners engage. They stretch. They take cooking classes. Learn how to play guitar at 65. Start a YouTube channel at 70. And every time they try something new, they give their brain a reason to stay young. Science backs it up. Learning new skills, especially complex ones, strengthens neural pathways and even helps build cognitive reserve. That means your brain becomes more adaptable, more resistant to aging, and better at bouncing back after setbacks. But here's the part people miss. Continuous learning isn't just for intellect. It feeds your identity. When you're learning, you're evolving. You're not just replaying old routines, you're rewriting the story. And yes, it takes humility. You'll feel awkward. You'll mess up. You'll be the beginner in the room. But that's where growth lives, outside your comfort zone. More importantly, learning gives you hope. When you believe you can still grow, still improve, still contribute, you don't feel done. You feel alive. In fact, some of the most fulfilled older adults are the ones who challenge themselves regularly. Not because they want to stay busy, but because they refuse to let their minds rust. So ask yourself, when was the last time you learned something new? Not for work, not out of necessity, but just for the joy of it. Because that joy, that hunger to explore, to understand, to grow, that's the real fountain of youth. The unseen superpower, humor. Of all the habits that fuel a long, joyful life, this one might surprise you the most, humor. Not just laughing at a good joke, but choosing to see the lighter side of life, even when it's hard. People who age well almost always share a quiet superpower. They don't take themselves too seriously. They laugh, often and freely, at life's absurd moments, at their mistakes, sometimes even at things that shouldn't be funny, but somehow are. Why does this matter? Because laughter isn't just emotional, it's physical. It lowers blood pressure, releases endorphins, reduces stress hormones, and even boosts your immune system. One study showed that regular laughter can improve memory and reduce inflammation. That's right, your brain loves a good laugh. And it goes deeper. Humor creates connection. It breaks tension in hard conversations. It builds bonds with strangers. It reminds us that, even in the face of pain or aging or uncertainty, we're still human, still capable of joy. Centenarians around the world often share this trait, a playful spirit. They tell jokes, pull pranks, dance badly, not because they're trying to stay young, but because they never stopped being lighthearted. And that keeps them emotionally flexible, able to bounce back, let go, and keep smiling when others would fold. But here's the real secret. Humor is a form of wisdom. It's the ability to step back, zoom out, and say, maybe this isn't the end of the world after all. It's emotional resilience in disguise. You don't have to be a comedian. You just need to practice lightness. Watch something funny. Share a silly story. Smile at the ridiculousness of everyday life. Because when you carry humor with you, stress hits softer, days feel lighter, and even the hard moments become a little more bearable. So laugh loudly. Be ridiculous sometimes. Because in the end, a life full of joy isn't just more fun, it might actually be longer. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one habit and let it grow. Which one spoke to you the most? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear. And if you found this valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the next video might just change how you see life again.